All right, here we are in chapter 7, the Shebuel, the holy number of God. And we are talking about Noah and his family and the living creatures that enter the ark, the beginning, increase, and continuance of the flood. Now, it's very interesting to see how this harmonizes with the book of Jasher. There's lots of details there that are filled in. It's very interesting to put the two of these together. Okay, but anyway, this moves ahead faster than Jasher here. And it's just with that, we'll just get to it. It says in verse 7, in chapter 7, verse 1, it says, "And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation." And the translators are harmonizing that with 2 Peter 2:5, little food for thought. "Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female." And the cleanliness versus non-cleanly is taught in the law of Moses. The fact is that certain beasts were reverenced, and the cud being chewed or not chewed, splitting the hoof and not splitting the hoof. And a lot of it had to do with this sacrificial people of Canaan and what they thought was good, and God did not like what was going on, like swine meat was so prevalent in their ceremonial magic, in their festivals and feasts, among a lot of other things, and that was unclean. So there's a whole similitude that goes along with the law in between the clean beast and the unclean beast. Now it gets explained thoroughly as you get into the law, and we will be doing that. We're going to buzz right ahead into the law of Moses here to help edify everything that we're reading and seeing. We're going to keep going, and we're going to go right through the time period that we just read about in the book of Jasher. So it's the male and his female. 3, it says, "Of fowls also of the air by sevens, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of the earth." Now these are all untainted specimens that are going to be saved. The tainted, through the angelic tampering, those beasts are going to be drowned. In 4 it says, "For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights," there's that number, "and every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth." Period. And Noah did according to all that the Lord had commanded him, and that went on. He was a very obedient servant to the Lord. He just was. He was full of wisdom and understanding, and he feared the Lord only. In 6, and Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. Notice the 6 in 600 years. 7 is a new paragraph, "And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, into the ark because of the waters of the flood." And there's a lot of details that aren't here that are in Jasher. 8, it says, "Of clean beasts, and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth." there went in 2 and 2 unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah. And the Lord put that in the spirit of the animal to do and to obey God Almighty and to do this. 10, and it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. 11, new paragraph. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. Notice the window, notice the porthole of heaven. And that, my friends, harmonizes directly with the book of Enoch. 12, it says, and the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In the self same day entered Noah, and Shem, and Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them into the ark. They, and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. Period. And like I said, this is gone over here at the beginning of our Bible and about things within their kind. And I just can't say enough bad about what so-called science is doing. This tampering with male and female and kinds, and mixing spiders and goats together, and catfish with alligators. I mean, I could just go on and on. Hybrids with humans, wolves. I mean, it just goes on and on. A channel cat mixed with a flathead catfish, just the 2 of them. And so it's against God. They're mixing kinds. What would you say if I mixed a pig with a human being in what they call DNA? What would you think of that? Well, they've done it. Okay, so in all aspects of this, as you see God's plan and what is good in the sight of the Lord, how much we are asking for the judgment of God in our actions, in our works. They are satanic in science, and they are against God. Now that's a fact. So-called science, all right, and it's nothing but witchcraft in this aspect. So every bird and everything of their own sort, of their own kind. And 15, and they went in unto Noah into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And that's the spirit, folks, the breath of life. 16, and they that were in went in, male and female, of all flesh, as God had commanded him. And the Lord shut him in. Period. Notice again, here's the male and female. Okay, so as the patriarch Paul said, effeminate men will not inherit the kingdom of God, and neither will women on women or anything like that, any sex changing. All this kind of trash is going to send you right to the bottomless pit. Now that's the judgment of God, and these people have no fear of God. These people that believe that it's good to mix the sexes, and do they know they're satanic as hell? Do they know that Lucifer is an androgynous god? Well, a lot of them do. A lot of them do. That's going to be their problem someday. It ain't going to be in our house, and it ain't going to be the people of the table here. I can tell you that. 16, and they went in, and they that were in went in, male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him. And the Lord shut him in. And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, and it was lifted up upon the earth. Period.
Read 17.
And the flood, capital F, was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, capital A, and it was lifted up above the earth. Period. 18. And the waters prevailed and were increased greatly upon the earth. And the ark, capital A, went up on the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 20, it says 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. So that's 15 cubits above the highest mountain. Am I reading that right there, table people? Yes, indeed, they say. 21, and all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl, and of cattle, and of beast, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man. 22, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died. 23, and every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and creeping things, and the fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. Period. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. Okay, and at this point, the great empire of the earth with all the Nephilim and the inbred animals and these grotesque creatures, these giant creatures, these mixed kinds all over the place, and these terrible bloodthirsty giants who were full of the wisdom of the devil and practicing the timetable of Satan. It's very fascinating that even I don't care where we go across the firmament of the earth, whether it be South America or even Egypt, it doesn't matter. The esoteric principle of facing the sunrise on the summer or winter solstice is right there in their temples, in their megaliths, in their monoliths, all that. They observed the timetable of Satan. Even a lot of them are UNESCO sites. That's one thing you can see, is that the UN takes these places because they're used to this day. The ley lines, the portholes, the whole thing, the whole gamut, and they make it a UNESCO site so that it can be used ceremonially and sacrificially and other purposes. And down here at the Snake Mounds in southern Ohio, as they dug up the bones of the giants there, they found out that, yes, indeed, they faced the sunrise. This same religion, this Baal worship, was used by these giants. And the Indians, hey, we didn't build these. No. The southern Ohio Indians said that the giants built them, and the archaeology, the last dig I saw, there was 15 to 18 footers found there. Now, that ain't on your evening news, is it? But it sure happened here in Ohio. That is a great megalith place. About 15 years ago, the witches had their great celebration there on Beltane. And it was on the news, and the people came out, and they had them at the gate here. They all had their masks and their attire on, their witchcraft attire, their rough garments. And the news asked them, can we come in? They said no. I said, all right. So we'll just fly over. And they showed hundreds of thousands of witches gathered there on the Snake Mounds, observing the timetable of Satan. And by the time the news broadcast from Cleveland was done, they were promoting it all as they flew over and showed just a huge amount, at least 200,000 strong there on the Snake Mounds in southern Ohio, reverencing their gods that are coming back, their great giants, their mixed breed with the fallen angels. That's an Ohio story there, and it's a true story. Okay, so that was back in the 90s, folks. Can we come in? It's the news people. No. Anyway, in chapter 8, the waters, shrank, and the ark rested on Ararat, and the little thing with the raven and the dove, trying to see if there was land out there. So anyway, they end up going forth out of the ark, and Noah does the sacrifice, etc. And we have the great promise that the earth won't be destroyed by water. No, but it'll be destroyed by fire of the Holy Ghost. Yes, it will. And the 10 unseen merchant kings of the Illuminati and their 10 multinational corporations, the worst of all being IBM, they're asking for this. They're begging for their judgment with their actions. In fact, they're doing everything Sodom and Gomorrah and Babylon and Egypt did, amplified. Anyway, that's another subject which I could go on about, and there's plenty of proof of what I just said. In chapter 8, though, and God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained. Period. When I say it's a porthole in heaven, the book of Enoch lays out the firmament of the earth and how God controls all the movements of the sun, the moon, the stars, and the weather, and the frost, and the snow, and the rain, and good rain, bad rain, the whole thing. It's just very involved. Someone tried to tell me, if you teach Enoch and you get to that point, you better not teach it because people will run away from you. And I said, I have to teach it. It's in the book of Enoch. So I don't care. The truth is the truth, and that's what Enoch says. And here we have the windows of heaven here in our Bible. And I'll take the Bible over what anyone else says, period. 3, it says, and the waters returned from off the earth continually, and after the end of the 150 days, the waters were abated. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat. Okay, now look at all the sevens there in that. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen. In a new paragraph, mark in 6, and it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. 7, and he sent forth a raven, capital R, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Period. 8, and he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Period. Then he put forth his hand and took her, and pulled her in unto him into the ark. Period. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and again he went forth. Again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. Period. 11, and the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf, plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. Period. And look at these creatures. Look at the raven. Doesn't that not have a dark implication? And look at the olive leaf. And notice the dove. How about that? And notice the sevens here. 12, and he stayed yet another 7 days. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and sent forth the dove, which returned not again unto him any more. Period. And in 13 we go on with a new paragraph. And it came to pass in the 601 year, in the first month, with the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from off the earth, and Noah removed the covering of the ark, and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. Okay, and notice the first month, and that's what? When they left Egypt. And that's a reverence day there. Okay, so notice how these things intertwine together, folks. All right, so there's that. That reminds you of the children of Israel and the joy of leaving Egypt behind. 15, and God spake unto Noah, saying, 14, and in the second month, on the 7th and 20th day of the month, was the earth dried. Okay? You don't want to leave anything out here. All right, and 15 has a new paragraph again. And God spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee, of all new. Okay, 17. Bring forth with every living thing that is with thee of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful, and multiply upon the earth. Period. 18, and Noah went forth, and Noah went forth, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him. every beast, every creeping thing, and every fowl, and whatsoever creepeth upon the earth, after their kinds went forth out of the ark. Period. In 20, and Noah builded an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast, and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. 21, and the Lord smelled a sweet savor, and the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more every living thing, as I have done, while the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. Okay, now one thing we got to realize here is that during the book of Revelation, the sun and the moon and the stars are going to fall from heaven. You see, and the seasons are going to be mixed up. That won't be with water here. It'll be with fire. And I say, is that enough here, or should we put another one on here? It's enough? Okay, the people from the table say that's good for a podcast, so that's where we're going to end it. And we're going to pick it right back up tomorrow in chapter 9. I hope that everyone's getting a lot out of it as we are here. And I will catch you on the next podcast. Bye-bye.